The video that you're about to watch, I actually filmed it, I want to say like September timeframe. Right now, it's currently mid-December of the same year. And I originally wasn't going to release it, but there's been a little bit of buzz once again about just the black girl curls hair method and whether or not it can yield long, healthy hair. And so there's been people on the intranet, you know, just sharing their little success stories and everything. And I think that people buy into it because when you see somebody's hair that goes from a taper to a draper, no, I'm just kidding. I don't even know if that makes sense. But when you see someone's hair that goes from a taper to like you see some length, we automatically, I think, assume that it's healthy length. At least I do, and especially when it's in its curly form, you can't really see it. So I'm just here as your friendly reminder of everything that looks like it's roses may not be. You know, there may be a bee up in there that's ready to sting y'all. And you know what? While we on the subject, if you don't get your high yellow self somewhere and sit down, I done told you no. About you snatching and grabbing on me like that. Girls, Christmas time, we ain't gonna be cutting up like that. Let's just go on and get to the video. Hey, all my healthy hair friends, it's your girl Shelly V, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. Hey. So I've been talking to a few curly haired friends, natural haired friends, whatever you want to call us. I don't know. It's individuals who wear their hair natural. And in those conversations, we were looking at a particular influencer. I won't mention who this individual is. You'll know her gender because I'm going to say she, her, whatever. Anyways, is that even appropriate to say nowadays with all the pronouns? I don't know. Anyways, it's a female. So we were looking, at her hair. And I was just commenting on, honestly, you can see the ends are Velcroing. You can see webbing in her hair. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm actually going like this as I'm talking, but you can't see it because...
What?
Anywho, so I was looking at all these things and I'm like, her hair just honestly doesn't look healthy. And she's someone who has followed the black girl curls, no oils, no butters methodology and gets curly cuts and all this stuff.
What are you saying?
Hold on.
I can't take this.
Hold on. No, don't leave. Let's clear this up. Come on, let's clear it up, Portia. Let's clear it up.
And I'm like, I know for some people that method works in their hair, or so they say. But quite honestly, anyone who has rolled up into my comments that says it on here or Instagram, anytime that I've gone and looked at their hair, because I do get nosy, I will go look for you and search you out.
Oh, I'm going to do that anyway, because that's how I am.
Just to see, because we's nosy and we want to know and see all the things, to see am I missing the boat. And anytime I go look, I'm like, sis, bruh. I don't know how these people can't see it. But anyways, looking at her hair, to me, it's so clear like the hair isn't healthy. And people who follow that method, I've honestly yet to see one person where I've looked and I've been like, yeah, it looks healthy. I just honestly have not seen it. And if you guys have seen it, or if you're someone who's living it, please slide into my DMs. And we can have a respectful, why can't I talk today? We can have a respectful conversation and you can share with me and show me, because I want to see. But if you're going to show me, I want to see your hair in all aspects, not just curly, because as we know, curly hair can hide some sins. I want to see it stretched.
Still.
Possibly with a little heat put to it, you know, a little flat iron action. I don't know. Because what I've learned is the straighter you get it, I'm not advocating that you put heat in your hair, but you know, I'm clearly not afraid of it and it's benefited me. But anywho, the more heat you put in, the more it tells the truth.
No, let me say something.
Okay, so there's that. let me come back to why I'm even sharing all of this. So in my mind, I've struggled with trying to understand how people who have followed that method and continue to follow the method with all the information that is out surrounding it and all the receipts and just everything, I've struggled to understand why people continue to follow the method and say that their hair is thriving. And it finally clicked. And it clicked because, man, the devil is a lie and the truth ain't in them. I just got interrupted. I was trying to convey my thoughts and I got interrupted. Okay, so let me, where was I? Okay, so I was talking to one of my friends and she had looked at this individual's content, and the person was doing a live and was doing a wash and go and saw all the things that I saw. But she came back and she said something completely different. And she said, even though her hair doesn't look the best in terms of health, her hair has still grown. It's still relatively thick. And for all those things, that's what people look at. They look at, okay, is her hair still growing? Does it still look thick? And that's when the light bulb clicked. That's when it was like, and I had an moment. And it all came together and made sense in my head. Because her hair is still relatively thick, it's grown, so it's got a little length on it, that she feels like people look at that, and so is the individual, the content creator, looking at it and saying, my hair is thriving because my hair is growing. And because of that, that's where people are getting caught up and not really seeing like the full picture, or possibly that's where some people are getting caught up and not seeing the full picture of what we've been discussing. Because I think that there's this misconception that if your hair isn't in a healthy state, then it can't grow. But the truth of the matter is that our hair is always growing. So unless you have some sort of medical condition or some sort of alopecia, our hair is always growing. So even when I was utilizing the no oils and no butters method, also known as the 30-day hair detox, my hair grew tremendously. I'm gonna insert some pictures to show you. I think it's a growth difference of when I got my first curly cut and then like 7 months later what my hair looked like and the growth. So you can see that even though my hair ended up being extremely damaged, I still was able to retain length. It's the curly cuts in my mind that really would keep people's hair at a point to where you couldn't realize like the amount of true growth that had taken place. So for a lot of people who were getting or who get curly cuts, it seems like a lot of them, I don't want to speak in absolutes, but a lot of them seem to be stuck in a taper type haircut, because when you go get a curly cut, it's really easy like to just nip off what looks like a little bit, and then when you extend the hair, it can be a couple of inches or more, which was definitely my experience when I was getting curly cuts. I would go in for a maintenance cut and my gosh, I would get scalped, it felt like. And it's also my opinion that this primarily pertains to tightly coily, kinky, curly hair and not necessarily the bigger, looser curls. But if you want a curly cut, go get you one from the queen of curly cutting herself, Elise, because she is back behind that chair doing some hair. And I think that we get that misconstrued with the whole black girl curls method, right? That doesn't stifle the hair from growing. But what it does do, or what my experience was and others, is that like, yeah, your hair may be growing, but that doesn't mean that it's healthy hair. Are y'all following me? I hope you're following me so far, because literally I had this light bulb moment and I'm like, this is a part of it that we have not talked about. I don't think that Rosie has talked about it, Simply Tams, or African Hair God per se. I think that we think that, I think that we assume that it was kind of inferred, but I just want to put it out there like in very plain terms, so that if you're someone who's been following this method and you feel like your hair is thriving because you've seen length retention, or you're following a content creator whose hair has, like, you look at it and you're like, but their hair is now longer. So if it was a bad method, how is it that their hair has retained length and it's much longer than, say, a year ago? Just because it's longer doesn't mean that it's healthy. You follow me? I pray that you follow me. I hope that you, I really hope that you are following me. I think you're following me. So it's important to note that yes, you can see growth. You can see great growth with the method I personally did, Rosie did, Simply Tams did. I have a couple other curly haired friends who did, but we all had to start over because when we really analyzed our hair, we all noticed that we had severe damage. And so there's a fundamental difference in having long, healthy hair, or it doesn't even have to be long, it can be short, but having healthy hair versus having hair that's not healthy. The way it behaves, the experience, just how it feels to detangle and style it. Like, it's so day and night different, but you have to experience it. And I'm not advocating for you to cut your hair or whatever, but I really want you to pay close attention to anyone who has followed the method for any period of time, even if they pulled back and they started using deep conditioners and leave-ins and all the things that you see myself and others doing, who have repaired our hair or have had to big chop and start over, whatever that looks like it means, or are, you know, following a different hair care regimen now. Hello. You know, to have healthy hair, I want you to look at their hair and just really look at it with a critical eye and be like, okay, is it really healthy? Just because you see length doesn't mean it's indicative of healthy hair. And I'd also like to add that because it typically looks good curly, meaning kind of like healthy, that throws us for a loop too. Tell me down in the comments if this is making sense and if it's resonating, because when I tell you I had a light bulb moment and I was like, it finally makes sense now. Because if the roles were reversed, quick edit, I meant to say if the roles were reversed and I was standing in their shoes and I hadn't had their experience, or I didn't think that their experience was mine, and I was using that method, but yet my hair was growing long and it looked good, then child, I would be confused too, which I was once there, right? And that's why I was so tricked into everything, because I'm like, well, my hair is growing, it looks good curly. I'm like, I don't know. I think that's why it took so long for me to really fully realize that I was in trouble and that I, you know, that my hair really wasn't thriving like I thought it was. And it wasn't until I started paying close attention to it and I started examining my shed hairs, and then I blew it out and I felt my hair and I noticed how extremely dry it was, and just all the changes in my hair that I was led to believe initially through being inside of See Some Curls. And I hate to keep naming them and saying, but it just adds validity to what I've been sharing. And so I feel like I have to just say what I participated in and what I did and why I thought certain things at the time. So when I was inside of See Some Curls and I would talk about my hair has changed, and it seems to be changing in a way that I'm not familiar with, and it seems to be drier and it seems to be a little frizzier, and I don't know. And they would say, well, you're just finally seeing your true hair elements and your true texture, and we have to stop curl chasing and wanting something that we weren't born with and just accept what we have. And so I was like, oh, okay, you know, I'm down with that. I don't want to curl chase. I want to accept what I have and be thankful for it, and, you know, just make it the best that it can be, whatever that is. And so I accepted that as an answer, but there was always this little, you know, thing in the back of my mind that was like, but you've worn your hair natural before and this was never your experience. and it kept saying something was wrong, but because it was the professionals telling me that it was right, I second guessed and questioned what I felt was off. Yeah, so it was just like the perfect storm for me. And once I started pulling back and I was like, something is not right. And like I said, I blew my hair out and I was like, I've never seen my hair look and feel this way. This is crazy. My hair color changed, my texture changed in lots of different areas within my head of hair. It was just the most bizarre thing, but yet my hair still retained length and still grew. And this is the craziest part. Even with all those mid-strand splits and all of that, my hair still retained length. I think our hair has a lot of integrity, you know, a lot of strength, a lot of and because our natural hair is unmatched, child. It just is. And the stuff that it can do and withstand is just out of this world, mind-blowing. So anyways, with that said, I was able to retain length and a lot of length, and my hair still looked really good curly. So with all of that, it's really hard to look at someone's hair unless you know what you're looking for. And now I feel like I have a pretty good eye where I can see people's hair and I'd be like, because I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've recently seen 5 people that I looked at their hair and their hair has grown, but I'm like, man, like, so. I also realize there are people who are completely content with having damaged hair as long as it's long. So there's that too. I don't know, take that for what it's worth and do with it what you may. But I just would feel some kind of way if I didn't make a video that clearly outlines you can see tremendous growth with that method, but does that equate to healthy hair? And for me, it did not. And for several others that I know, it did not. And I'm sure a lot of the individuals that have been in my comments saying, me too, me too, me too, I think it holds true for them as well. And it's just, it's wild. It's crazy. So with all of that said, if you were someone who's still on the fence, or if you're someone who's watching from the sidelines and you're just kind of like, you're undecided because you're like, these people's hair is still growing and it's still thick for the most part, and they're still wearing their curls and they seem to be fine. And they're telling us that their hair is thriving. I just want you to look at all of that and look at the big picture and just truly make an informed decision for yourself, because like until you connect all the dots and put the whole picture together and you can clearly see it for yourself, it's a little hard to see. It's a little hard to see. And it's been a situation where it's been hard to explain it all, because at some point I feel like I've sounded a little off and crazy and just like, I don't know. I don't even have the words, but hopefully you see what I'm saying. Hopefully it all makes sense, because when I tell you I had a light bulb moment today and I was like, I need to video record this right now. Like I was literally on my way to the gym and I'm like, nope, I've got to go home and record this while it's fresh in my little noggin, because honey, stuff be escaping. I'd be like, where'd that go? I can't even remember what I was going to say. What had happened was. But anyways, I wanted to just, you know, record it while it's fresh in my mind so that hopefully I could do it justice and convey what it is that it finally just clicked. And I'm like, is this why people continue to follow it? I know some people are going to continue to follow it regardless. Like it has nothing to even do with this, you know, like they're just dead set on it's the best thing since sliced bread and that's it. And for them, if they like it, I love it. But for those who have had a hard time putting it all together and deciphering, like going, but her hair still looks like it's thriving. It's still kind of thick. It has grown, like, and being like, and it doesn't take that long to do it. And so I want that. I just want you to really look at the whole picture. And there is a very simple way of taking care of our natural hair that in my opinion, can yield very healthy, happy hair. And I hope I've been an example of that. I hope I can continue to be an example of that. I'm gonna show you one last look. It's not all, you know, fitting up there. We got some pins and stuff, but oh my goodness, we are circling the tower. We're so excited. So with that said, I hope you continue to follow and rock with your girl. And until next time, bye.